Imagine many of our listeners are saying, wait a minute, how unfair is this? My costs are going through the roof to provide care, and yet the PPO plans are cutting already ridiculously low fees even lower. I mean, that is exactly what's happening. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, Aaron. That's what's happening. Your costs as a provider are going through the roof, pretty much in every expense category, every line item expense category, but especially in wages, in wages. And yet now I'm getting even lower reimbursement from the PPO plan. I mean, in a very simple nutshell, that describes what most PPO practices are being subjected to right now. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Does it seem fair?
It's not fair. I mean, when things are, 30% more expensive and your fees for doing that work is going down, how do you make ends meet?
There's nothing fair about PPO plans. I know I made a blunt statement. There's nothing fair about those. There's four entities that are involved in the insurance game that we have right now: the dental insurance company that provides the plan, the dentist that receives or that provides the care, the dentist that provides the care, the patient that receives the care, and then the company that bought the policy. There's four entities. In the current insurance game, there's only one winner, and that's the dental insurance company. Everybody else loses. Every other entity loses. The dentist that provides the care loses because he or she is subjected to very low fees. The patients lose because of all the games the insurance company play. I mean, a simple example of that is if your wonderful patient shows up 5 months and 29 days after their last hygiene appointment, what's going to happen to that claim, Darren?
Denied
Why?
because you didn't wait 6 months. So one day is one day too much, too
Sorry,
many.
denied. So the
Yeah.
patients lose. Another example of how they lose is all the exclusions, all the fine print, all of the things that are excluded and that they thought would be covered because of dental care. Um, and then the employer loses because quite literally they're being gouged for premiums, um, and they're overpaying for premiums in terms of how much of that money is paid out to the benefactors of those insurance policies, which are the patients. So everybody loses. There's nothing fair about that at all. And I have specific evidence for you. Earlier this year, Cigna announced that they were slashing their fees. They're already low PPO fees, 15% were being lowered across the board all over the country. If you haven't seen it yet, it's coming. But Cigna is dropping fees. And then, as recently as last week, Delta of California announced that they're cutting their PPO fees another 15% as well. So this is what we're seeing. And when this happens with Delta, what do you think all the other PPO plans are doing? They're looking for copycat strategy because what it does is it lines the pockets of the executives at the PPO plans. It literally lines their pockets, and that's what we're seeing. Um, and it's happening. One of the reasons it's happening, Naren, is that companies that buy the policies have, they're being often forced due to the economy right now to cut costs. That be a fair statement?
Yes.
I mean, every company is experiencing some pressure to one degree or another because of rising costs. Like for example, Naren, have you noticed any like delivery surcharges? Where delivery companies will charge more because of what they have to pay for gasoline for their delivery vehicles. Have you noticed that as a consumer?
Yes, I have.
Any
I
other
have.
examples that you can think of?
Yeah, I know some may not explicitly say it, but I know like when I walk into my restaurant, I end up paying more. I think maybe because the prices of food has gone up, wages have gone up.
I'm
There's
talking specific surcharges.
specific surcharges.
The restaurant example is a good one.
Yeah.
Teresa and I went to a local restaurant that we like supporting, and they had a notice on the menu that there will be a 4% service charge added to your meal that will be shared with all of our staff, all of our support staff. We would encourage you to still tip your server. So in other words, there's now going to be a tip for the server, but then a 4% surcharge that goes to, the entire restaurant staff.
Right.
Now,
Right.
this is a restaurant that I enjoy supporting, and I'll be happy to pay that 4%, right?
Right.
But this is what companies are doing when they're faced with that, right? They've got to somehow
They
pass.
pass the extra cost to the consumer in some way or form. Some just raise the prices, no explanation. Some, like you said, do it in the form of surcharges.
Right. They'll provide have a surcharge.
Right.
Now, now what many companies are doing, I'm talking about the companies that buy these policies. They are going to the PPO plan administrators, and they're saying, we still want to provide dental insurance benefits to our employees, but we need lower premiums. We can't pay what we've been paying in premiums before. Now,
Right.
what do you think the PPO plan administrators do? They say, sorry, that's just what it is? What do they say?
Of course, Mr. Customer, because you are the one writing the checks, we'll do anything for you. You want lower premiums?
We can
No
help.
problem. We can help. Yeah.
So how do they do it?
The way they do it, I think almost all the time is, they go to the dentist or all the dental providers in their plans and say, too bad, too sad, we're going to pay you even less. So you used to get very low
They lower the
fees. Let's make it even lower.
They get lower fees. Remember, they
Yeah.
don't care one bit about you.
Yes.
So they don't mind lowering your fees. And as a result of that, you take it on the chin as the dentist, as the byproduct of the employer wanting to lower their premium costs.